Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second episode of the Plough Lane podcast. Today, there's a lot of topics to talk to. We have the Wrexham game, the Oxford game, the next round of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy, the FA Youth Cup run, the next game against Crawley in the league, how tough this January is going to be. We're going to talk about everything today. We are joined by Kian and Hector. Kian, how are you?
Well, after that Wrexham loss, a bit disappointed, but I haven't let it ruin my Sunday.
Hector, what about you?
Yeah, I'm right. Not too fussed from that Wrexham loss. Expected it, but yeah, great.
Yeah, I agree. I think the first topic we should go on to is our last game at the racecourse, a 2-0 defeat to Wrexham. I don't know if it was deserved. Definitely the second half performance was a bit poor. First half, we should have been definitely a couple goals up. Hector, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree that we were definitely the better side in the first half. And we had a lot of chances. We just didn't take them. The defence did look a little bit leaky, and we didn't take advantage of that. Sasu, I said it on the last episode. I said he looked a bit sloppy, and he had the right ideas. He had the right ideas this time, and he took some shots this time. He actually got past some players and took it on with the keeper. But yeah, unfortunate that we couldn't score any. I guess we just have to get a striker in to get that goal scoring threat back.
Yeah, I 100% agree. To be honest, like after the Ipswich game, it was just we even had chances against Ipswich and we just didn't take them. We're playing such tough teams in January. If we don't sign anyone, I will be definitely worried. I thought Sasu had a great game. I agree. It was good to see him drive at the defence. I feel like against Ipswich, he didn't really seem that lively. Didn't get the ball, and then I said to myself, I think against League Two sides he'll be all right. And he put on a really good show. Should have scored a couple goals, hit the bar in the first half from a really good shot. Kian, what do you think about that performance?
Well, the first half was surprisingly brilliant. I wasn't expecting that. We proper gave it a go in the first half, but sadly our attacking threat could not finish on goal, so no dice. But yeah, I would say we got really unlucky from the first half performance, but that second half performance was just all over the place, especially defending wise. Like we looked so composed in the first half, just to suddenly totally ruin our chances in the second half.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like as I said, we're playing teams in pretty much the top 10 every single game up until like Barrow at home on the 10th of February. So we need to take our chances, especially when you go to the racecourse. We said in the last podcast, Wrexham only lost 3 times at home in 2023 and 1 time this season to MK in the first game of the season. So you've got to be clinical. Like MK, I think they went 2-0 or 3-0 up inside the first half or something, and they were clinical enough. And then Wrexham, I feel like if you don't score a couple goals in the first half against Wrexham, you will be punished in the second half. That's happened quite a few times. I heard Wrexham fans saying that they've had an awful first half. They get a bollocking at half time, and then they go out and put on a show in the second half, get a couple goals in, and win the game. The 2 goals that were scored, so we conceded 2 inside 8 minutes. The first one by Stephen Fletcher, and the second one by Paul Mullin. 2 goals which I think could have been avoidable. Kian, what do you think?
The first goal by Stephen Fletcher seemed like just a miss mark at the back post. But then, that goal was completely preventable if players would just mark up in the box in a set piece. But with Paul Mullin's goal, that was the same exact thing, just detrimental defending. Sad to see Jack Curry making the mistake, as he looked so promising through the season. But he seemed to try and clear it, but then it's most likely hit his shin or something. It didn't get enough power behind it, and it went straight to Paul Mullin's feet. And you know what's going to happen after then. So just all over the place really with the goals.
Hector, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're both poor goals to concede. Sasu on the first one was marking 2 men at once, so then Stephen Fletcher was just to be able to run free into the ball's
Exactly.
path, just smash it in. So
That shouldn't be able. That shouldn't happen in the first place, to be honest.
Exactly. I don't know why he's marking 2 men. By doing that, you're just asking for one of the men to get free and run straight to the ball and smash it in. And then with the second goal, I think it was a bit unlucky. I think it was just a bit of a bad touch from Jack Curry, because if he couldn't really leave it, because it would go straight to another player. I'm not sure it was, but it was going to go straight to another player who would have probably just hit it in. I think because he's been brilliant all season. He doesn't normally make these mistakes. Obviously, players will make mistakes, and it's going to happen once every so often. So, I'm not too fast because he's been brilliant.
Yeah, I agree with you. This was the lineup that we put out. Bass in goal, Biller, Johnson. Lewis is back, which we will go on to in a minute. Curry, Little, Reeves, Sasu, Ball, Tilly and Davison. Hector, how do you think Lewis did in the first game back in, I think, around 2 weeks? His last game was against Forest Green in the draw. How do you think he faced against a pretty good Wrexham attack?
No, I think it was pretty good, especially for the first goal. He was doing all the right things. It was just the second goal. Sorry, he was doing all the right things. But yeah, just fell unlucky after that bad touch. I think overall he's pretty good. He put in some good tackles, and yeah, nothing really too critical about him.
I agree. Kian, obviously the lineup's on the screen right now. Bass, Biller, Johnson, Lewis, Curry, Little, Reeves, Sasu, Ball, Tilly and Davison. Is there any names in that lineup which you can pick out which had a really good game? We've mentioned Sasu. I thought Tilly had a pretty decent game. He's just running at defenders, got unlucky with a couple shots. Is there any standout players for you in that lineup?
Well, obviously Sasu created most of the chances out on the wing. He had many chances to score in the first half. Sadly, he didn't. But what I feel like is a quite underrated player in the lineup is James Ball. I actually feel like he kind of played in the bugle role in his absence.
Yeah.
And I feel like he done quite well to replicate Bugle's usual performances. With like Tilly, played well. Sadly, I don't think I really noticed him as much as Sasu. But actually, no, about even. But surprisingly, a lot of the standout performances were in the attack, even though he didn't score. But it is what it is.
It's so tough because I feel like we had such a missed opportunity. I remember, Hector, you said, I think we've fallen down to 10th, if I'm right.
Yeah.
In the league table, you said in the last episode of the podcast, that it's so tight between like 4th and 13th or something stupid like that. We're on the same points as Crawley, who we play on next weekend, still 3 points away from the playoffs with a higher goal difference. This league is so tight. It's a crazy league. Had some crazy results yesterday. Grimsby drew 5-5 with Stockport County. Crazy, absolutely crazy. I feel like it's such a missed opportunity because I feel like we were the better team. We were in possession, controlled the ball. Which AFC Wimbledon brought 1,100 fans to Wrexham. I thought the support was incredible, to be honest. I feel like we have an average attendance of around 600 away from home. We've got some long trips up north, and I feel like the away support can maybe be a little bit better in numbers, to be honest. I feel like there was quite a lot of new fans, which is always good to see. There's been a lot of new fans, especially since we moved to Plough Lane, bringing 1,100 to Wrexham, a sellout, which is brilliant. Have Bradford away. It'll be interesting to see how many fans we bring to Bradford. Then we have Doncaster, I believe, after that. MK will be interesting to see how many we bring, even though we have the boycott, but it'll be good to see how many fans can go there. Hector, what were your thoughts on the home and away support yesterday against Wrexham?
Yeah, I think genuinely the atmosphere was it was pretty good the first half. Obviously, it died off a little bit during the second half, but it was expected. But the amount of day trippers were ridiculous, and some of the activities that these day trippers were doing was very odd. I had someone behind me, headphones in, sitting down, head down, watching Netflix. Not even watching the game. Just watching Netflix with headphones on. So if you're going to come all the way up to North Wales, at least watch the game.
The usual.
You have a 3-hour train journey to watch Netflix.
Exactly.
That's true.
Come on.
Spending all that money and you're watching Netflix at the football game that you bought to go to.
Exactly.
Kian,
Yeah.
what were your thoughts on the away support yesterday?
Yeah, well, I thought it was brilliant first half. We were very, very loud. We sometimes even outsung their drum at some points. It felt quite good until Fletcher put Wrexham 1-0 up, and then it died down a bit. But then, I mean, going away from our support with Wrexham support, it's not as great as people would actually expect when they go to the racecourse. Personally, I watched the Wrexham Disney Plus series, and all they would present is the great chants, the lovely atmosphere, but they didn't show the drummer drumming by himself when no one is singing.
To be honest,
it really shows.
If there is any Wrexham fans watching, I thought it was a brilliant game yesterday. The banter between the fans was pretty good. I think Hector will definitely agree as well because he was in the thick of it. But no, the atmosphere was good in my eyes. I thought I actually want to say hats off to the Wrexham drummer, even though he was drumming alone. I thought he was quite good. But I feel like if you went to, let's say, if you went to the Wrexham versus Sheffield United game last season, that would be a lot better. Obviously, Wimbledon is maybe not. I was going to say not the most attractive club, but maybe not the most sort of exciting games to go and watch. But it's Wrexham. They're popular. They're selling out crowds left, right, and centre. Fair play to them. I feel like everyone's jealous of Wrexham in a way because they have the owners. I feel like if we had the owners, we would be loving life. We'd be signing Paul Mullin, James McLean, Elliot Lee. They can all play in the Championship. To be honest, can't they, Hector?
Yeah, I mean, everyone is jealous of Wrexham. That's the reason they're away and get sold out every time. I think one of the only clubs to not sell it out is Sutton. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, their owners are basically their whole club. Without their owners, they'd be just some irrelevant club in North Wales and they'd still be in the National League. Because, they got attendances of under 4,000 before the owners. So half those fans, they're all Yanks and they're there for the money.
Yeah, but fair enough to them. Hats off to Wrexham. It was a good game. We don't have to play them this year. To be honest, I actually enjoyed the trip up there, to be honest. I thought the pub was quite nice, which we went to. Yeah, Kian didn't, but I think me and Kian have the reasons why.
It's just your fault, isn't it?
So if anyone doesn't know,
stay on football.
Yeah, if anyone doesn't know, we spent a lot of money to get there, but I think we should
stay on football. Let's stay on football.
Because you tried using fraud to get on the train.
I feel like we should swiftly move on to another topic. To move on to the striker problem. Yesterday we had 17 shots and only one on target, which came from Sasu in the first half. Such a missed opportunity for points. Hector, what went wrong yesterday?
I don't know. I mean, Sasu in the last two games, he never really looked like scoring. He can run out the defenders and create a threat, but he just never has that sort of finishing ability. And it's the same with Davison. He has none of those things. I got slated on it for Twitter for saying he's a bit shit, but he is in the last few games. Apart from Colchester, he hasn't done much. And to me, he just looks a bit slow, and he just doesn't look like he should be in the team. But I mean, there is no one else, so
yeah, that is a good point. To be honest, Ali has missed quite a few big chances. I think he's missed the most big chances in the league this year, if I'm right, in the team.
Most likely,
but to be honest,
I think, because that counts towards it as well.
True. He's also missed a couple one-on-ones, but to be honest, Josh Davison, he's a good striker. I really want to like him. Against Colchester, he was unreal. He put chances away and he's shown that he can do it, but it's just a little bit disappointing. But to be honest, Sasu maybe should have scored a couple as well, but he hasn't had a lot of opportunities and he's coming into the squad at quite a tough time playing Championship side. Ipswich Town in the FA Cup, then going to Wrexham, which is one of the hardest places to go get a couple points. I'm just looking at Davison's stats now. He's played 77 games and scored 18 goals. I feel like also because did Sasu play on the wing? I think he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Davison was up top on his own, and we kind of had that last season when he was literally just up top on his own. It just wasn't working. I think Josh Davison is good when he has a player next to him like Ali. He can feed off Ali. Davison can feed in Ali for one-on-ones or whatever, and then Ali will finish them. I think that shows how much we're missing Ali Al-Hamadi at the moment. And it's crucial because I feel like Iraq will go far in the competition. Hector, how do you think Iraq will do? They have their first game tomorrow against Indonesia. I feel like Bugle will be back soon. When do you think those two players will be back?
I think without doubt Bugle's going to be back within the group stages. I don't think he's going to last. Lebanon are going to last very long.
I believe they lost their first game 3-0 to Qatar.
3-0. Yeah, if you're losing 3-0 to Qatar, you're gone. With Iraq,
what about Ali?
It's a tough one. I like to tell myself that they're going to get knocked out in the group stages, but from their friendly results, it seems like they probably won't. They'll probably finish second. So
that's a good point.
For 16 and then get knocked out.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Japan won their first game today, I believe, but they've got Indonesia, who they beat 5-1, Vietnam 1-0. Kian, when do you think those two will be back? I believe Omar's last game is a day before MK, and then I think this is in the knockouts, and then Ali's is the day after MK on the 24th. When do you think they'll be back, Kian? Because they're much needed at the moment.
Well, I don't, realistically, I don't think Bugle will actually be back for MK, even if he gets knocked out in the group stages, because it's too quick of a
tough journey back.
Yeah, it's too quick of a change in a literal day's time, maybe not even a day's time. You know what I mean? But with Ali, I feel like they're going to go quite far in the tournament. They'll get knocked out in. They won't. I don't think they'll win it, but then we'll get Ali a bit later, I think. When does the tournament end?
The final is on the Saturday, 10th of February. Yeah, which we'll get
at
home
back by end of Jan, I think.
Let's hope so. For the people that don't know, obviously they've missed Ipswich, Oxford, and Wrexham, and then they missed Crawley at home, MK away, Mansfield at home. If they both get knocked out in the group stage, they will be back for Peterborough or Crawley versus Wimbledon in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. That actually links to the next topic. That is a very good starter. We also had the first game we had in the weekend before Wrexham was a 2-0 win over League One. I believe they were in 5th place at the time when we beat them. Oxford at home beat them 2-0 in the round of 16 of the Bristol Street Motors Trophy. Tilly scored 2 goals. Hector, what were your thoughts on the performance? A little bit of a changed side. What were your thoughts?
Generally, I think it was a brilliant performance. The two goals from Tilly, sort of classic Tilly, cut inside and then smash it with his left. To be honest, I don't really remember much. All I remember is we were pretty dominant. They had a couple of chances, didn't take them. I think we could have easily had 4. And then but then at the end, when their keeper got sent off, we just sat back.
That was so funny.
Wanted to see a shot from the halfway line, but they didn't give it to us.
We were shouting for it literally for the last however many minutes was left after he got sent off. Fair play to the guy going in goal, and it was so funny when Pell, he was like dancing and then he went down and then got a red card. Kian, classic Tilly, so good to see him back in form. I thought he was quite good against Wrexham as well. What were your thoughts on Tilly and any other players which stood out for you in the lineup?
I mean, the only things I remember from the night were both Tilly goals and obviously the red card. But actually, realistically, I feel like we got a bit lucky because they had some clinical chances near the start of the game, which they most
Zanev
likely
made a great save.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, no, Zanev. That's a standout performance for me. He definitely played quite well that game, preventing a lot of big chances for Oxford. But then obviously they didn't play much of a weakened squad, if I'm not mistaken. So with that, and our team having about 8-9 changes or something like that, I definitely think it's a good performance against a high-achieving League One side.
Yeah, exactly. It's great to see Tilly score. I thought it was excellent. The first goal, especially as Hector said, was a classic Tilly start of the season goal. And it's really important because obviously we miss Ali and Omar. Hopefully not, but until the 10th of February at the latest. It's good to see him back in form. As we said already, we thought he was quite good at Wrexham. The the quarterfinals, I believe it is, the draw did take place. The options were Peterborough or Crawley. That game got postponed due to a frosty pitch, I believe. And then the others was Wickham. They play Brighton and Hove Albion Academy. But we drew Peterborough or Crawley. That game takes place very soon, I believe, next week. We play Peterborough or Crawley away in the quarterfinals. Hector, thoughts on the draw? Is it the easier draw, or who would you rather have out of those two?
Oh, I'd definitely rather have Crawley, because I think Peterborough in League One, I think there's only been one game where they haven't scored a goal.
Oh wow!
So
That's a stat.
That's a mental stat. So they seem like quite a pretty side to come against, especially if they're looking to win it. They'll put out a full strength side and probably steamroll us. So I think I would like
exactly.
Crawley. I would definitely like Crawley, because at the size of Crawley, and they would want to be getting promoted. I think they'd prefer that to winning. Maybe prefer that to winning the trophy. It all depends, but
yeah, probably.
I would like Crawley away rather than Peterborough.
It will be, yeah, I agree. But to be honest, we have beaten 2 League One sides already. We beat Portsmouth 5-2 away from home, and then Oxford at home. Pretty much beat 2 candidates maybe to get far. Just had a look at the table. Peterborough do currently sit second in League One. Jesus, that's tough. So we've beat 1st and 5th, and we may face 2nd away from home. But to be honest, I think we got the team to do it. This is one of the first times Wimbledon. I believe this is the furthest we've got in the competition. I may be wrong, but I believe the round of 16 we got knocked out by Plymouth, and that was the furthest we got before. So I'd love to see us to get to Wembley. Kian, what do you think about the draw, and what are our chances to get to Wembley in this competition?
Well, I mean, if Crawley go through, we've got a massive chance to get to the semi-finals of this competition. But if Peterborough go through, I think it's a different story. As when we played both Portsmouth and Oxford, they were starting to dip in form, if I'm not mistaken, especially Portsmouth.
They were indeed.
I mean, at the moment, their lead in League One is definitely slipping. But with Oxford, I'm not as sure, but I feel like they were dropping points. But with Peterborough, they are one of the most informed teams in League One at the moment. And I just don't see us beating them at all. So hopefully Crawley can nick it, and then we can beat them and get to the semi-final in the competition. Because I definitely think we have a good enough side to beat them.
Oh, 100%. And by that time, we could have Ali and Omar back. So I believe if we have a full strength squad, which I think we will put out in this competition, Johnny Jackson seems to love this trophy. He's got to the quarterfinals, I believe, with Charlton Athletic before. So it's a good trophy to win. It's something different to think about than the league. And it's a chance to get to Wembley. Even though people don't really like the competition, it's a chance to get to Wembley, earn a little bit of money for the club. And that's a really important time at the moment, especially with the transfer season just in thick at the moment. Hector, we're inside January now. We haven't signed. Well, we've signed Joe Lewis. Obviously, that's really important. But we have a full week break until Crawley at home. Where do we need to strengthen in this week?
Definitely up front. We need a striker. I don't think Davison's going to be good enough going up against all these, sides that we pushing for promotion. I heard about that Palace loanee. I don't know what's happening with that. Sort of people saying it's being announced on Friday, and then nothing happened.
Interesting.
So
it's really weird, because you see all these rumours going by. People say it's 100% confirmed, and then you see Ronan Curtis in Greg's with Armani Little, and you don't really know what's going on. It's so tough, because I feel like Ronan Curtis, I think he'll be unreal for our squads. Even if you put him up front, I think he'd do well. I believe he's a left winger, his primary position, but he would do so well. It's just about, obviously, he got an ACL injury, put him out for a whole season. So it might be fitness, could be wages. I don't really know. Kian, we obviously need to strengthen up front. Is there any players you think we should take up front, or is there any positions or other positions which you think we should strengthen in this week? I feel like we need to do it well in advance, because we don't want to sign them on Friday evening and then they come on the bench and play the last 10 minutes against Crawley.
Yeah, I'm completely with Hector here. We need to completely revamp the the striker partnership at the moment.
Yeah.
Obviously, because of Ali and Bugle's absence at the moment, it's like we just don't seem a threat in attack at all, really. Sasu obviously performed quite well at Wrexham. He seems capable of being in the starting 11. However, Josh Davison, he doesn't feel like he has as much finishing threat as Al-Hamadi does. So, I mean, with that Ronan Curtis rumour, I feel like he would be an amazing asset for the club. But we still haven't heard any updates, and obviously those pictures have came out where he's been at the Oxford game, so there must be some sort of deal occurring at the moment because he hasn't signed for anyone. So, exactly.
I believe this season, like we obviously really haven't gone for a lot of loans, especially like we usually have 9 or 10 loans, which is always stupid. But just looking at the bench for yesterday's defeat to Wrexham, we had Hallard, Sutcliffe, Williams, McLean, all youngsters, and we haven't really got a lot of attacking options. We got a decent defensive options to come on, but I think we need definitely 3 or 4 more signings just to even if they're maybe not League 2 quality, but they can come on and make a difference because the bench was very weak yesterday. Hector, what are your thoughts on that? We had a very, very weak bench out yesterday.
I mean, yeah. There wasn't really anyone that we could bring on when we were 2-0 down and just get that quick goal and make a difference.
I believe we only brought on McLean. He came on in the 84th minutes. So
that's just too late, isn't it? Then
there's not really much you can do.
Yeah, not much you can do. But we definitely should get a couple more strikers in because I think the next time Ali will be away is if we possibly get playoffs. He will miss the playoffs. So.
Is that true? Oh no! Let me just.
I think I remember being.
Sorry, I have to put in there. He cannot miss the playoff game. That will be completely disrespectful to his parent club.
Can someone, Kian or Hector, can you have a look quickly? Searching up when the playoffs is. I just had a look.
Oh yeah.
So Iraq. Okay, so they have obviously Indonesia tomorrow. On the Monday 15th, they have Japan on the 19th, Vietnam on the 24th, and then he's off for a week for the World Cup qualification group. Yes. They play Philippines twice. That's in March though, so the 21st of March and the 26th of March they play, but then they have Indonesia and Vietnam again in the World Cup qualification in the 6th of Jan and the 6th of June and the 11th of June.
Yeah, I think that's the ones. Those are the dates.
Oh no!
So we definitely need a striker in to fill that gap. Someone who can actually score goals and play a full 90.
I feel like
in the playoffs.
I feel like Ali would stay if we get to the playoffs. I feel like league games I understand, to be honest, but when it's World Cup, but to be fair, it's actually their last 2 games of the qualification. I just realised that as well.
Exactly.
So
if it's tight for them, he will definitely go.
True. I agree. Kian, have you looked up the dates or anything?
I mean, it says that last year's playoff final was 28th of May. That's what.
What about the semi-finals?
I mean, before then, I don't know. It didn't state it. So. The date
it kind of seems like it does kind of seem like it will fall on that date. Let me just have a look. I'm on the 2024 season. It doesn't actually say, but it says oh no, that's interesting. League 2 playoff final, Sunday 19th of May. So it's actually before. So he will be in the playoffs. So there you go. If we do get there. But we will see. We will see. We are now going to move on. I had an interview with Gianni. He is the media intern for the Youth Academy, and I had a 10-minute chat with him. We have now been joined by Gianni. Gianni, how are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm not bad, Reese. I'm not bad. How are you?
I am good. So, did you join the club this year, I believe?
Yeah, this year. Yeah.
You'd love to see it. Can you explain, what you do for the club and how you find it and how your best experiences have been so far?
Yeah, I mean, my formal term is academy media intern. So that involves match reports for league games, cup games that then go on the website so people can read about them. Interviews, players like manager Simon Clark, academy staff, media content for Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, that sort of stuff. Mainly working with the under 18s because they are obviously the oldest academy age group. It's good fun. It's really good fun. It's great experiences. They're a really nice squad to work with. The coaches are good. I really enjoy it.
That is really good to see. What has been your favourite experiences so far? Obviously, we had a really good FA Youth Cup run. You've done a couple of league games, I believe. What's been your one favourite experience so far?
One top, it's got to be Bramall Lane. The trip to Bramall Lane last Wednesday. Obviously, huge shame about the result. I think we played quite well. Sheffield United also played quite well. So it's a shame about the result. But I mean, the experience up there. Lovely stadium, really nice press box, which I got to watch the game from. Got sort of pitch side access, changing rooms, player tunnel. It was a privilege to be there. It was really fun.
That is absolutely great to see. More about the FA Youth Cup run. I've actually got it on here. It will come up now. I believe this is right. If you can just fact check that quickly.
Cambridge, Stevenage, Blackburn. Yeah, perfect. That's it.
Perfect. So for the audio listeners that can't see this, the first round was Cambridge, and then we beat Stevenage, Blackburn, and then unfortunately lost to Sheffield United. I agree with you. I actually thought they played really well. I believe their goal was quite scrappy as well in the second half.
It was unlucky.
Are they in a higher league as well?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
That's good. Well, can you explain maybe a little bit more about that performance? Who do you think the key players were in that game?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was I wouldn't call it a cagey game, but it was a game where there wasn't too many clear-cut opportunities. I think it was quite level. Both teams were pretty equal. I mean, Max Folks, our goalkeeper, made some fantastic saves, actually kept us in the game until obviously when we conceded late on. He would probably be my man of the match if I had any input in it. Kai Jennings in midfield is always one of the top performers. He was really good. I think our defence was really solid. Riley Horan and Leo Young are our centre-back partnership, and they were really good. And like you mentioned, the goal we conceded was unlucky. There was a couple of players slip in the box. It was a ball bouncing around, and it was an unlucky goal to concede. Yeah.
Well, even though they lost, I think the performances have shown we've beaten, I believe, Blackburn, a Category 1 academy as well. So that's perfect for them. More about the FA Youth Cup run. We've had some really good FA Youth Cup runs in the past. How important is that for the players and just for them coming through, getting the experiences? I believe we lost to Tottenham a couple of years back as well, which was really good. Beat Burnley in the past. How important is the FA Youth Cup run for the academy at Wimbledon?
I mean, I think it's vital. Like you mentioned, the past experiences we've had in the cup, getting through to later stages, it shows what this cup means to the club because we put a lot of effort into it. And I mean, it's important for the players because they get trips up to other stadiums, like we saw at Bramall Lane. Obviously, they get chances to play at Plough Lane, which the first 3 rounds were at. And it's that chance to play in front of a slightly bigger crowd than usual. It's a chance to have more eyes on you playing, to show off, to make that name for yourself a little bit bigger.
Some Wimbledon fans come and watch as well.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised at a few Wimbledon fans that travelled up to Bramall Lane.
Oh, really?
Last week. Yeah. Real commitment to the club, which was great to see. Yeah.
That is great to see. I believe, I can't remember who it was, but one of the Wimbledon Academy players said, where do we go from now? I believe they still want to win the league. How are they doing in the league, and where do you think they'll end up at the end of the season in the league table?
It's a good question. I mean, on Saturday, yesterday, we did lose to Leyton Orient. Quite an unlucky game. It was similar to Sheffield United in terms of we created chances, struggled to score, and then got punished for missing chances. Not a poor performance at all. And again, it was the team that played. We had a few under 16s players in there, so it wasn't a full strength team. So I think to be pushing higher teams in the league with younger players in that squad shows the quality there. I think we are still capable of winning the league. I think we're in a slightly poor run of form currently, but I think that's easy to get out of in terms of the quality that we have in the squad.
I agree. I feel like a lot of Wimbledon fans might not know what like the league system is in the academy. I think, can you maybe explain that, like what league Wimbledon are in, and if it's playoffs, top 3 goes up, something like that?
So I think at this point it's based on like location, geographical location. So you've got teams up north, teams more south, west, east, obviously. So in our division we have Leyton Orient, we have Luton, we have Sutton, Stevenage, I believe. There are more teams, like London-based teams, but it's gone from my head at the moment.
Perfect. There's been so many Wimbledon players. We've got such a great academy that they've played in the academy since they're young, and then they've gone off and played for higher clubs like Ubasau's in Qatar, Jack Redoni's at Huddersfield. Who do you think are the next 3 players to break into the first team? Obviously, we had Jack Curry last season as well, and he's been phenomenal. I think he's become a fan favourite after scoring against Gillingham in the first game of the season last year. What are your next 3 players who do you think will break into the first team?
I mean, there's a few to choose from. I think the first player who springs to mind, as I've mentioned earlier, is Kai Jennings. I know he's been in a few of our first team squads already, but I mean, he's a really, really good player. He's a really well-rounded midfielder, probably just as good as he is defensively as he is going forwards. Just really pivotal player in our team. Like all the play goes through him. He's a good communicator. Reminds me a bit of Morgan Williams, who obviously broke through last season and earlier this season. But yeah, Kai Jennings. I'm going to go Junior Nkeng, who's a left winger. I think he's also been in a couple matchday squads for the first team. Not as many as Kai, but really sort of tricky winger. He's got pace, he's got flair, he can find the back of the net. And then I'm going to say Paris Locke, who's obviously spent this season on loan at Dover, I believe. And I'm pretty sure he did quite well at Dover. I think he won quite a few of their fans over with his sort of attacking play. Another really exciting, forward-thinking player. Yeah, I mean, that's 3. But I'm also, if I can just mention one more.
Go ahead.
Riley Horan, centre-back. I think it's difficult for a centre-back to go into men's football because of sort of the physicality of strikers that you'd come up against in League 2, for a 6'4" target men. So I think it will be difficult. Yeah, go on.
That's just like me playing football today, playing against people against 15, 20 years older.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it will be difficult, but he's a fantastic defender. He's a proper warrior, puts his body on the line, makes big tackles, good in the air, physical. So I think those 4 are the players that spring to mind. Yeah.
Perfect. That is great to see. For the last question, I wanted to talk about you a little bit more. Obviously, you're in the media already for Wimbledon. What are your aims, let's say, in the next couple of years?
Well, I 100% want to work in sports media, and of course, my biggest passion is football. So football is where my focus is, but I'm open to other sports, of course. I mean, broadcasting, journalism, sort of reporting. It's all stuff that I'd love to go into. I think my one big career ambition would probably be sort of live reporting on sports on camera. But
you're very good talking already in this, so yeah.
Thanks, Reese. So are you. But I mean, any sort of sports media is where my ambition is. Yeah.
Perfect. That is great to see. If anyone is listening and wants someone to write them articles or do some broadcasting, then give Gianni a message. Gianni, thank you very much for joining. And good luck with everything in the media, with Wimbledon and your ambitions in the future.
Thank you, Reese. Thank you for having me on. Same to you, of course.
I just had a really good chat with Gianni. He was really good. Such a good lad. He has great ambitions in the media. We will quickly move on to We're actually going to talk about the FA Youth Cup run and just the academy in general. I feel like they've done so well. Gianni has explained it really well, how the league system work, who he thinks is the next couple of players to go through to the first team. Obviously, we've had Jack Curry, Sasu, Ayuba Sal, Jack Radoni. We've had so many good players come through. This is the FA Youth Cup run that they had. The audio listeners can't see it, but we started off with a win against Cambridge, then beat Stevenage, then we played Premier League side, Cat 1 team, Blackburn Rovers, beat them at Plough Lane, which was great to see. The performance was unreal from the boys. And then we unfortunately lost to Sheffield United. I actually watched the game, to be honest, on YouTube. It was so good that they did a live stream. It was so good to see the players that they could be bringing through soon and just the players for the future. And I think the future looks bright, to be honest. Sheffield United are obviously in a higher league than us, and I thought we put up such a good performance. Hector, Kian, did any of you watch the game? Sheffield United game?
I went, not the Sheffield United game, but I went to two of them. I went to the Blackburn one. I don't really remember much of that, but I'm not sure which one it was. It was Cambridge or Stevenage, where it went to extra time and someone scored a bicycle kick in extra time.
Oh, yes, I remember that.
Yeah. And then the passion of those celebrations, like the whole team.
The time is 8:18 p.m.
Thanks for that.
Where did that come from, Kian?
That was me.
Was that Hector? Oh, wow. That's
right.
fine.
Okay.
Hector, carry on.
So they scored a bicycle kick and the whole team went and knee slid all together. So the passion in that team is just something else, something special, to be honest.
Yeah. I just want to say hats off to Michael Hamilton. I believe he's the academy manager, and he always makes them do laps around the pitch after a victory, which I think is like the spirit that they have. The togetherness in a team is unreal. And I think that's just the Wimbledon way. And I think that's the way we have to bring up these players to get them into the first team, because we've sold Jack Radoni, Ayuba Sal for millions. I'm sure Jack Curry will go for millions when we decide to sell him and he decides to move on. Kian, how important is the FA Youth Cup run? Obviously, we're in a little bit of a lower league than Blackburn, Sheffield United. I'm not too sure about Cambridge and Stevenage, but how important is it for these players to get in the spotlight in the FA Youth Cup run and show themselves to the fans?
It's really important, even for the first team, because it presents to Jackson which players are really ready for league level. That it's probably the type of competitions that Ayuba Sal, Jack Curry, Jack Radoni would have played in and shown how good they really are. We need like youth players are really important to this club just because of how well we produce them, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
The more we see our young players winning these competitions and winning these games, the more you see how good our youth development really is.
Exactly. I think that's so important because the club doesn't have they don't really have the most amount of money, let's say, especially when you can compare to Wrexham, Stockport, Notts County. The list goes on in League 2 and League 1. We were still bringing up Jack Radoni, Ayuba Sal when we were in League 1. And I feel like that's the way to go with Wimbledon. We bring so many good players and we give them opportunities. Hector, Kian, is there any players from the academy which will be the next, let's say, Jack Radoni, or the next player which will break into the first team and then get sold on to the leagues above? Any of you? No names? Wow, that is shocking. No names.
Kai Jennings.
That is a very good. That's a very good one. Kai Jennings.
He gets onto the bench a lot. So
he does.
I didn't really want to say him because he's a bit already.
You can say him. You can say him. Obviously, he's on the sub bench, but he hasn't broke into the first team as of much. I feel like he will in the future. Maybe next season he'll get an opportunity, or maybe go out on loan, etc. But I actually kind of wished he came on in the last 10 minutes against Ipswich, or we were 2-1 down. It's a little bit iffy, but especially did he come on against Oxford? I believe he did for the last couple minutes. He maybe might have, but I'd love to see Kai Jennings maybe get a couple more appearances. But we will see. Another one, Ed Leach. I thought he was brilliant. Max Folks, the goalkeeper. He's one. He's definitely one to look for. I believe Matt Cox. He went to. We had him before. He went to Stoke, and then now he's at Bristol Rovers in League One, so a higher division than us. And he was a brilliant goalkeeper. Like Bezo works with them a lot as well, and he brings them in to work with the first team goalkeepers of Bas Zanev, and that gives them more experience to go and dream high. And Max Folks has been involved with the pre-match training all the time, so that is great to see. The academy's doing well, and the fans, the staff, the whole club can be always proud of the academy and what Michael Hamilton and the staff behind are doing. The last topic that we are going to go on about, we have a whole week break, and our next game is we take on Crawley at Plough Lane on Saturday, the 20th of January, 2024. We beat them under a month ago, I believe it was, at Crawley away on the 22nd of December. A great 2-1 win, but we do miss Ali, who had a great game. Hector, what are you expecting from Crawley at home on the weekends?
It's going to be a tough one, obviously. They are quite obviously a playoff pushing side.
Yes.
They can obviously score goals. They have done in the past. And especially with us with no attacking threat up front.
Mm-hmm.
I think we just have to sign someone midweek. We can't sign someone on Friday night and just stick them on the bench.
Yeah,
I do agree with you. 20 minutes, because that would be bad. I think we need someone who will be able to play the full 90 and get some goals. But to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we lose.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I thought Crawley actually looks like a really good side when we played them, especially in the second half when we got Joe Lewis sent off. They kept battling to get that final goal, but Bass in the defence did really well. I'm just having a look at the league table now. We're on the same points as Crawley, but we've got 13 more goal difference than them. We can both, Crawley will come just below the playoffs if they do win, but we can definitely push into the playoffs if we win. This game is vital, because if we lose, we can drop to 12th, 13th, and then we could be 6 points away from the playoffs. And then we have Mansfield, who are flying high, third in the table, only lost 2 games this year. So it's going to be a tough one. January is such a tough month. Kian, what are you expecting from Crawley? And what are you expecting?
I am very, very nervous for this game. I feel like I just don't trust us attack at the moment to score some goals. I feel like our defense is very, very good in this for this league. They just work so well together. I don't think we're going to concede against Crawley, but I don't think we're going to score with our attack if we don't sign any new players.
Yeah, I agree. It's such a shame to see. Like, I've said it so many times, and Wimbledon fans will keep saying it. Obviously, everyone knows Ali Al-Hamadi and Omar Bugle are out. Like, if we had a strong lineup, if we had the lineup we want to put out, I would say we would maybe even get a chance of winning every single game this month. Like this January, like we have the team to go up, and I feel like this team would do quite well in League One as well. I think most of you would agree. If we had a full strength squad, a good bench for players to come on, I think this team would do really well this year. January could ruin us if we don't get some results in. It's worrying times. If we sign a striker, which I hope we will, there's been a couple rumours, and let's see where the next couple of days go. We will finish this off with score predictions. Hector, what are your score predictions for Crawley at home next weekend?
I'm going to go with, if we sign a striker, we're going to win 2-0. If we don't sign a striker, we'll lose 2-0.
Yeah, to be honest, I can see that coming. I don't know what to say about the Crawley game, because obviously it's 6 days away and so much can happen. We've got a week off. We don't have a midweek game. Crawley do have a midweek game, which they will need to think about definitely before they... Oh, no, sorry, that's played on the 23rd. That's after us. That's after. So they have a week off as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Kian, what are your score predictions for Crawley at home next weekend?
Crawley, they're not a great side at all. But, I mean, with their 1-0 loss to Salford, that's a terrible result for them at the moment.
Very true.
I don't know if you can call them a playoff pushing team, but yeah, sadly, I think we're going to lose 1-0. It's going to be a repeat of last season.
Oh God, I really hope not.
With
But
that
to be honest, I can see it happening if we don't sign a couple players. But Crawley are in a little bit of weird form. Like they lost to Salford, which I actually thought Salford didn't look great. When we played them, we easily should have got 3 points. But then they went and beat a really good Bradford team. They beat a good Swindon team, lost 2-0 to MK, beat a decent Gillingham team before that. So they're on very weird form. So I'm not really sure what to expect. If we sign a striker, I think we'll win. And if we don't, maybe it could be a draw or even a loss. I hope not, because we need 3 points just to keep our playoff push alive. Any closing thoughts for you boys?
No.
Any closing thoughts? No?
Well, good luck to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
I hate
I agree.
I hate January.
January is a tough month. But I still believe in Johnny Jackson, Craig Cope putting in their work as I hope they're doing every single day, trying to bring in signings as much as possible. And yeah, let's see where the next week goes. Let's all be positive. The team still looks good, in especially the defence and the midfield. I'm so comfortable with that team, maybe except from up front. But let's see where the next 6 days goes. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you for Kian and Hector for coming on. Thank you for Gianni for coming on for 10 minutes. And yeah, see you all at Plough Lane on Saturday. Come on, you Dons.